The new Suzuki, oh, it's not new, it's actually a facelift. I don't know which facelift it is now, because this generation is about 10 years old now and they've been facelifting it ever since. I'm not sure why. Suzuki, give us a new Vitara. But anyway, what's changed? Well, not much actually. The daylight LED lights are now vertical. You still have the 1.4 turbo engine and the 1.5 non-turbo with a slightly bigger electric motor. Both of them are still mild hybrids. Inside, not much has changed, but you still have some new assist systems. So everything is so hot because it's a freaking hot summer, so I don't want to get burnt. Anyway, this is the 1.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder gas engine, and I think it's one of the best Suzuki has. And it really fits this car because it's got enough power, enough torque. It's actually fairly quiet. It's good for the road. And yeah, the consumption is also really good considering this is an all-wheel drive car and it's not, you know, it's a slightly higher crossover. And there's so much space here. Hello, hello. I'm looking for a V6 as well. Inside, like I said, no major shifts, no major geological shifts, because everything is very much the same, apart from the infotainment system, which is actually quite nice, works quite well. But when you sit in it, even though I really like the car, it's really nice, it does feel a little bit old-fashioned. And especially these door things over here from hard plastics, they feel very 80s, 90s, although you do have some soft touch material up here. But you've got your analog instrument cluster with a digital trip computer, and what's best, you've got physical everything. You've got physical climate controls, physical seat heating, you've got physical controls for selecting your drive mode, you've got physical buttons on the steering wheel. Everything is physical, which in this day and age is actually a big, big plus. On the rear seats, wow, I just brought a bunch of gravel in there, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm sitting behind myself here, my driving position, and I've got plenty of knee room, plenty of foot room, so that's quite nice. I'm about average height, and I'm already touching the ceiling with my head, or the roof. My colleague is 196 centimeters. I'm not sure how much that is in freedom units, probably about 2.5 donkey tails with 3 clippings. But he's already touching the roof in the front seat as well, where there's a little bit more space. So yeah, if you're a bit taller, it's gonna be a little bit of a problem, maybe. So in the back of the Vitara, there's actually a surprising amount of space, even though there's not a whole lot of it, but I always take our equipment as a reference. We've got all of our equipment in here, and it's actually quite comfortable. We could put some extra things in there. On the right and left side, on the extremes, you've got these little cubby holes, for example, for a camera to fit in there so it doesn't move about. And you can also remove or open up the bottom and put some extra things in there. So obviously you're not going to be transporting your furniture in here unless you collapse the seats, but you know, for every day, for shopping and so on, it's actually perfect. You might be wondering why I'm driving in reverse while recording this. Good question. I'm questioning that myself as well, and the answer is because I wanted to show you this little, kind of not really off-road, but a gravel road, and well, it seems that at the end of it was someone's house, so I'm not really going to go there and get shouted at. So let's try to turn around without actually dropping off into some sort of a cliff. But what I wanted to say is that the Vitara here is the perfect car for something like this. No asphalt, there we go, we lost some traction there. Now, technically this isn't really off-road, this is just a crappy gravel road, but still, we know that Suzuki Swift, Ignis, this one, and especially the Jimny are very, very capable off-road. Especially the Jimny, because it also has a reduction gearbox and so on. But, you know, all of these... Okay, there's more traffic here. Where did I go? I thought I was in a kind of a remote area. But anyway, yes, they're very good at this. And like I said, this is the perfect car for a place like this, for little out-of-the-way towns, in the hills, in the mountains. And one of the pluses of this hard plastic that's a little old looking by now is that if you're doing something in an environment like this and you're a little muddy or you have dirty hands, you're not really gonna feel too bad about making this dirty because, well, it's very easy to clean. So I have unfortunately completely failed in my quest to find a really interesting off-road thing where I could show you all the capabilities of this car, which we already know. And I've just entered a village called The Last Village. I don't know if that's some sort of a terminal thing now. I hope not. But anyway, now that we're back on the asphalt road, I do have to say that this is the other side of the Vitara. It's not just a car for broken gravel, muddy roads, you know, something for off-roading and then you get a real car. No, it's actually really pleasant, even in large cities, in traffic jams, on the highway. And I always say, oh, why do they put such tiny engines in cars these days? But first of all, this one has 4 cylinders, not 3. And yes, it is only 1.4, but I do have to say this is probably my favorite Suzuki engine because it's turbocharged. It's got just enough power for this car to be economical, but still nice. I really actually like it. And my average fuel consumption is 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. This is considering that this is basically a crossover, so a bit of a higher car, less aerodynamic, and it's got constant all-wheel drive. So that's a really good number.